Hi student, this video is on human respiratory system. Main part of human respiratory system, organ of human respiratory system. And human respiratory system, the main parts, nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, common passage for food and air, larynx, also called voice box, and trachea, also known as a windpipe, and trachea divided into two branches called bronchi and lungs. Each bronchi enter into the lungs, alveoli, and diaphragm. And diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscular sheet that lie below the lung. This is a diagram of human respiratory system. Air enter into the body through nasal passage called nostril or nasal cavity and then pass to the pharynx, larynx, trachea, tube-like structure called trachea, and each trachea divided into two parts called bronchi, and each bronchi enter into lungs. And in the lungs, bronchi divide into further branches called bronchilus and into a balloon-like structure called alveoli. In the nasal cavity, hair and mucus are present that filter the air, and the temperature of air is also regulated with the human body temperature in the nasal cavity. Then air passes to the pharynx, larynx, and trachea. Trachea are surrounded by ring of cartilage, and ring of cartilage prevent the collapse of trachea. Then air passes into the lungs through bronchi and then passes to the bronchilus and reaches the alveoli. And alveoli is a balloon-like structure. Alveoli has a very thin wall structure and it contains numerous blood vessels. Function of different respiratory organ, nose filter and warm the air. Hair and mucus present in nose filter the air, and temperature of air is also regulated with the body temperature in the nasal cavity. Then air passes into the tube-like structure called trachea. It is a passage for air, and then air enters the bronchi, and it carry airs to the lungs. Alveoli are balloon-like structure, and this is a site for gas oxygen, lung oxygen gases, and diaphragm and ribs helps in breathing mechanism. Breathing involves two mechanisms. Breathing involves two mechanisms, inhalation and exhalation. During inhalation, air is inhaled. Air rushed into the lungs. During inhalation, ribs move outward and diaphragm moves downward. Diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscular sheet that lie below the lungs. And as a result, when diaphragm moves downward and ribs move outward, the lungs cavity size increases, and here the pressure decreases. As a result, air from outside is rushed into the lungs. During exhalations, ribs move downward and diaphragm comes into original positions. As a result, the lungs cavity size decreases, and here pressure of air increases. As a result, air is expelled out. Mechanism of breathing, difference in inhalation and exhalation. During inhalation, when we inhale the air, diaphragm contracts, ribs move upward, and as a result, chest cavity expand and size increases, and air enter into the lungs. During exhalation, diaphragm relaxes and ribs move downward, chest cavity size decreases, and air is expelled out from the alveoli. Contain numerous blood vessels, and as the oxygen level is high in the alveoli, and blood absorb oxygen from the alveoli, and carbon dioxide from the blood is diffused into the alveoli. Oxygens occur through thin alveolar walls that contain numerous blood vessels. Increased residual volume and its importance. During breathing cycle, when air is inhaled and exhaled, lungs always contain some amount of air known as residual volume. Lungs do not become empty during exhalation or inhalation. There is a small amount of air in them known as the residual volume. Importance of residual volume. Residual volume of air in lungs provides sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed by blood and carbon dioxide to be released. Start of respiratory system. Air enters through the nostrils and then passes to the nasal cavity, then into pharynx and into larynx, then air enter into the trachea, from the trachea air into enter into a bronchi enter into the lungs and get further branched into bronchilus. From the bronchi air enter into the bronchilus and bronchilus and into a balloon-like structure called alveoli. And here the exchange of gases takes place between alveoli and blood, and oxygen is transported to the body cell through. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you will like it, and thanks for watching.